let's take a look at the newspapers again. This time we have a reviewer in the studio, and he is in the person of Nelson Omonu. He'll be giving us perspectives on the stories on our front page, the pages this morning. Thank you for joining us on the show, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go over it again now, beginning with the Daily Trust newspaper.
Yes, we'll be starting with the Daily Trust newspaper. The major story, and that was the major story yesterday, it's the 2022 presidency. Southwest weighs options on Tinubu Oshibajo. The first writer says, governors divided as Afenifere keeps mum. Why I want to succeed Buhari Oshibajo. I have no son grown enough to vie for presidency. That's coming from Tinubu. Then on the left-hand side, top left of the newspaper, we have insecurity. There may be no Nigeria in 2023. That's an alert coming from the Sultan of Sokoto. Herders dehumanized by soldiers in Kaduna, not bandits, says police community. At the bottom, we have over 100 victims of Plateau attacks given mass burial. Many houses razed, telecom masts destroyed. We also have the story here that says 30 tertiary institutions compete for 950 million CBN grant. 2023 PDF presidential aspirants swell to 15. And then we have the story, rapist whips as court sentences him to death.
All right, now let's take a look at the Nation newspaper this morning. And on the Nation newspaper, we have the lead story talking about politics. It says, Tinubu rallies governors on mission for APC ticket. It has the riders that says, NWC gears up for primaries guidelines, and you have Osimanjo unfolds plans. At the very top there, the story is EU envoys seek gas supply from Nigeria, and then you have mass burial for 80 Plateau residents killed by bandits. Nigeria gets 3 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine from Italy, and then how gunmen killed Oshun APC council chair, and that's according to his son. You find the details there. 68 kidnapped train victims in Niger terrorist camp. So at least now we know the location of where they are. I hope that something will be done as soon as possible. That's that for the Nation newspaper this morning.
And for the Punch also has led with a political story. 2023, Tinubu Oshibajo groups clash. Aregbesola may back vice president. Ogun Customs sees 102 million marijuana. NDLA seeks help. We also have the story that says, Lagos youth kills girlfriend, sleeps with cops for 6 days. And then this story on the the music minister, Osinachi, police transfer case, minister, can youth demand justice? Then on the bottom here, we have MC Oluomo's boys, tricycle members clash over pack ticket sales.
All right. Now, finally, on the This Day newspaper, we have the story at the very top there. It says, Lalong attending political meetings as terrorists maul down 80, abduct 70 in Plateau communities. You have the lead story saying, Tinubu disowns Osibanjo, says he has no son grown enough to declare for president. And that's other ones. You have other ones saying, marginal fields, upstream commission targets June for drilling. That's that for the This Day newspaper. Now let's get perspectives on some of these stories, beginning with the Daily Trust. Well, welcome again to Daybreak. It's good to have you.
Okay.
Mr. Omonu,
Yes.
it's a good thing.
It's a sad one for the development in Plateau State, and this is one too many. Though various figures has been reported, but on the whole, even if it's one person that was killed, this has stayed around us for too long. And it pop up the question of what is the authorities doing? What are the issues? Now, I think that sometimes when we authorities make pronouncement, policies and all that, there's no nexus between what we say and what we do. Imagine more than 50 human beings mowed down, and we're already planning to give them mass burial. Then we'll go back and sit down until the next round of attacks. Nobody is held accountable. What are the issues?
So, there's something very common. Each time such things happen, you get to hear that things like investigations, are being carried out and that troops have been deployed to the area, But this is mostly when the deed has been done, when people have been killed, and then we swing into action. It has always been reactive.
Yes.
So you wonder really whether do we get results from the reactive measures that we are taking?
It's just not working. As if there's a systemic support for some of these things. If not, get to the root of it. Deploying troops and all that to affected areas is just like treating the symptoms. What is the root cause of some of these things? And you set up a commission of inquiries that will get to the root of these issues that keep reoccurring. Some of them as old as some of, if you have 15 years old person now, the crisis in the Plateau, especially in the Fourth Republic since 1999, it has been recurring. Maybe a break, 6 months or thereabout. But in the last 3 years or thereabout, it has escalated. It is an indictment on this government if we can't come up with a clear roadmap for the crisis on the Plateau. There have been various allegations by Sukapu and some association on that side. Don't forget when the Uruguay attack took place. There were some press conferences by some groups there were reprisals and all that. Now, we expect that leveraging on that, government was supposed to have done something concrete, bring together stakeholders, especially elites from the affected area. Let them state what are the grievances. Identify these people.
Well, Mr. Omonu,
Yeah.
on the Plateau, anytime there's a crisis, people panic because they say not the Plateau again, because it has a way of escalating. Now, the thing is this. All the things you have mentioned, each time there's a crisis on the Plateau, peace committees will be set up. There will be investigation. Why is it that till date nobody has been able to unearth the real problem so that a solution can be found? And again, even when a solution is found, it always seems like it will just last for about 6 months, 1 year, and then we're back to where we are. So why is that so?
That suggests some kind of systemic support or something, because we have not really carried out a holistic, even if there are recommendations. The recommendations are just treated the way the normal Nigerian things are treated. We'll just get over it, get people to... Most of these commissions of inquiries and no investigation, assurance of investigation is just to get people to assuage their feeling for losing loved ones and all that. And by the time we discover that we were getting over it,
another one happens.
So it's we only hope that a time will come when authorities in place will see this as an indictment on who we are.
But apart from the authorities, Ayuba, how about the people? Is there something the people themselves can say to themselves that enough of this crisis already?
The people?
Yes, the different groups.
I'm not sure any of the groups in Plateau, they are enjoying what is happening because they bear the brunt. For an attack, it means somebody is coming from somewhere, perpetrate this act, and possibly withdraw or something. That is what the government is supposed to get on top of their game, discover what is happening, name and shame the sponsors of some of these attacks. See, one thing is, like sponsors of terror attacks and all that, is the same thing that is happening in Plateau. Name and shame those. The biggest consumer of information is government. They have large volume of information at their disposal. Hardly can anything take place in anywhere in Nigeria that government does not have information. Then the question is, what do they do with the information at their disposal? Now, nobody can say that there's a movement of 50 or 70, 100 persons, just like it happened from where at the point of attack on Kaduna bound train or something, and they were moved from there to Niger Forest. There was a movement in 21st century where satellite can just pick.
And they were not tracked.
They were not tracked.
But is it that they were not tracked, or perhaps someone is looking the other way
Well,
to
we
let
don't have
this happen?
evidence that
Because I mean, we've heard it from several people who say that, well, sometimes you find that there are presence of security personnel in certain locations, and their presence doesn't stop anything from happening.
That's right.
Very recently, a friend of mine was abducted, and when he was given an account of what happened, he said, from a checkpoint to where this incident happened, where they were abducted.
That's right.
It's a stone throw, and in fact, the abductors were making description with the checkpoint.
And
You're kidding.
Giving information.
They knew that there was a checkpoint there.
Yes, giving information to say, okay, this is our location. That is for payment of ransom and all that, and so use this checkpoint to trace and so on and so forth.
It's an indication that we're not ready.
You wonder that. How is it that the presence of security personnel,
That's right.
even if it is scanty, at least in the places where they are,
Yes.
these things still happen, and it goes, unchecked.
One of the issues that we have to contend with over time is nobody is held to account. If anything happens, I hope that Nigeria will get to the point that we start learning from what is happening in other parts of the world. And if it has to do with security, for crying out loud, if you give responsibility, you should be able to hold the person you assigned to do that job. And if he's not doing it effectively, why not? You have the right to, the power you have to hire is also the same power you have to fire. Then look for a more competent hand who can, people don't care about posterity. And Nigerians also don't hold leaders to account, even while alive or in death. So public officials are free to do whatever because they know we suffer collective amnesia. By the time you get out of office, you should pretend over security architecture and you are not able to secure your people, you'll be celebrated the following day you get out of power. So
These attacks,
or maybe sometimes when they retire, they begin to tell us what the problem is.
They begin to prefer solution. No, they prefer solution also.
Begin to prefer solutions, to the system, or sometimes even get appointed, in some way.
But the thing about the Plateau is this: with the way attacks keep recurring, shouldn't there be intelligence? Shouldn't the security operatives be more alert so that they don't keep going to send back the attackers? Like they should be aware even before it happens.
All the information. They have all the information. The sickening thing is that the political will to deal with the situation is just not there. That is what the recurrent attacks on the Plateau has demonstrated.
All right. Now, I'd like for us to take a look at other stories now on the front page of Daily Trust, talking about, herders that were dehumanized, by soldiers in Kaduna, and that they are not bandits. So we are now getting feelers that, police is telling us that they are not bandits, and the community, residents of the community are telling us also that they are not bandits. I don't know if you came across that video on social media. It went viral where, you know, some people who were allegedly or, you know, accused, you know, of being bandits were being piled up in a truck, in a military truck to be taken, you know, away and all of that. And, you know, the video is disturbing, really.
That's right.
If, you know, they are actually not bandits, it points to the issues of, you know, our intelligence. How did we arrive at the conclusion that these are bandits? You know, did we rely on maybe some community resident who's pointed that, oh, I've seen this group of people and I think that they are bandits, you know, only for us to discover later that they are not? How did the conclusion come about?
Well, the information is neither here nor there. The army is an authority. Police is also an authority. What it suggests is that what is clear from the push and pull here is that there is no synergy. Before this information gets to the public, it is expected that if the both arms of government, of the same government, if they are working in synergy, there should be some information between the two institutions. This is what we have discovered, that maybe people that were killed and all that, the viral video that is trending, will discover that these people are not bandits and possibly look at the institutional way of managing the information before it is put out to the public. What it shows is that there is no, because the army has also not come out to say they are not bandits. So what one do we take? You get it. If we go with what the police has said, that is to say that we're already breaking the army that we expect to defend us. So it is a failure of synergy. When there's in an emergency, just like we have on our hands, that is if the authority sees it as emergency, because the body language here is not suggesting that we are facing national emergency. If it's some other places, what we have, the situation we have on our hands at the moment is enough to declare some state of emergency somewhere and deal with the situation frontally.
All right. Well, while all of this is going on, other issues, you know, are also on the table, which is the issues of 2023 politics. You know, we've seen candidates, you know, declaring intention to run for the presidency. I mean, it was just only a matter of a few weeks after, is it up to 2 weeks? After the Abuja-Kaduna train attack, that the Minister of Transportation declares his intention to run, you know, for the presidency, and a host of others also who have done that. And the conversation is now louder, you know, all about who will, you know, be the candidate of Party A and Party B and all of that. In the midst of all of that, do you think that that's where we should be, you know, focusing on right now?
Ayuba, and then a follow-up to your question, I think it's in line with that the Sultan is raising this alarm. Insecurity, there may be no Nigeria in 2023. I think this is an alarm so that even the politicians that want to govern the country in 2023 understand that if this festers, there may be no country for them to rule.
So it's let me start from the insensitivity of our political class. What it has demonstrated is that they don't really care about the common man. But what is important to them is the quest to maintain their grip on power. When the train attack took place, and the subsequent video that we have seen trending, and a young girl of about 20 appealing and crying in the hands of bandits that government should do something. I think that should be the center of national discourse at this time, instead of who is going to be this and who is going to be that. And I think I saw the transportation minister running around.
He was jogging around the stadium.
to demonstrate that he is capable of. Meanwhile, the ministry he is supervising is on fire. You get it. So they will always bring us back each time we want to hold government accountable for the level of the degeneration in the security situation of the country. They use all this bravado political stuff to just divert our attention to what. And I saw the vice president, in all modesty, came out he declared, I think that was yesterday.
Yesterday morning.
He declared, but the manner he declared his ambition shows that a leader who is like sensitive to the mood of the nation. He simply used the social media to reach out to Nigerians that, look, this is my intention. I am not condemning those as gathered crowd and all that, but what we have now should speak to our collective conscience that it is not time for us to, let's put the security situation we are having now on the front burner and begin to, let me use an example. The Cuba crisis, missile crisis, and that was in 1962. The Soviet Union wanted to mount a missile in Cuba, around Cuban water. And from there to the coast of Florida, it's just a blast from there. It takes less than in minutes. They hit Florida. President J.F. Kennedy was in the war cabinet, he meeting with his war cabinet for straight 2 weeks. That's about 13 days. That is not closing, not going anywhere. See, continuous meeting for 13 days to ensure that USSR is prevented from mounting the missile in Cuban territory because they know the implication of. See, attack has not taken place, though.
It hasn't taken place.
It hasn't taken place. But you see the length countries can go to protect their territory
Being
and to
very
protect their
proactive,
citizens.
right?
13 days, as in if they want to take
it's there,
same
you
office
back
there, you back there, you do everything. Nobody closes. Among his war cabinet, that he said, use every means possible
to stop this from
to
happening.
stop this from happening. That is leadership. And in the end, the U.S. Navy mounted a blockade that prevented the USSR from bringing in their missile. So they were forced to make a detour, and they took it back. And it never happened. The installation never happened. That is leadership. And that is what we expect to see on this part of the world. See, the point is this. Every year we come up with, this is what we want to do, want to attract investment. There's the rate of poverty or possibly unemployment we have now is going to continue to escalate. You know why? If international media is reporting, they don't report Plateau State. They report Nigeria. At best, they can say maybe northern Nigeria or south. They report Nigeria. The press from the West, especially, they report Nigeria, insecurity in Nigeria. So who is bringing his money to put his money, to invest his money where there's insecurity? And if there's no investment, so where is the employment opportunity coming from? Is it government that is already overbloated? See, so the spiral effect of most of these things is only God that.
Yes. And, on the Punch newspaper, again, yesterday we saw that there was a meeting between the federal government and ASU. And then ASU, is insisting that there will be no resumption until their demands are met. And there are also permutations that the Minister of Labor himself is likely going to declare also to run, for the presidency. Because, the suspicion came from the fact that this strike has been on for weeks. For almost 2 months now or more, and then there was never such a meeting. And then all of a sudden, everyone is declaring intention, and then boom, there's a meeting between ASU,
That's right.
you know, and the Minister of Labor and all that.
The political manipulation is just, it's not about Nigerians. It's not about students that are home, that are vulnerable to being manipulated. It's not about anything serious. Recently, we took $1 million to go and give to Afghanistan when lecturers in our universities are home on strike. Like that. So sometimes we behave as if people that are hypnotized, we don't even, okay, now we have the money to spend. They say any nation that feels that education is too expensive is already doomed. But if it is politics, we can release any amount.
But Mr. Omonu, the federal government is saying what ASU is asking for is too much.
It's possible. It's not too much. It is not too much. Recently, a young man in Spain, I think he's of Nigerian origin, and he made a post. I think it's a video that what he takes, what he earns as a part-time waiter in a restaurant is more than what a professor in Nigerian university takes. That is the lowest. He said is a part-time, not full-time, part-time waiter in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but the Minister of State for Education said the government cannot meet up with what ASU is asking for at this time. So would you support ASU taking part of what they want, then go back to the classroom and...
It will not happen. The moment they take, for me, I support the position of ASU because these are not ordinary men. Okay, look at their life, their living standard, and their counterparts who were able to find their way out of the country. Few years down, few months, not even few years, few months. Lecturers that leave Nigeria, the shores of Nigeria, to somewhere else to ply their trade. Few months, they will come back and become like star to those they left behind. Mm-hmm. See,
well, everything boils back to the strength of the economy, isn't it? The strength of our economy here in Nigeria.
But the strength
when you compare
the strength of our economy supports 150 billion to the National Assembly, where they are less than 365 and 109. The strength of our economy supports that. The strength of our economy supports large presidential fleets. The strength of our economy supports every other thing apart from education. That is the life wire of any any nation. Kill education and you have killed everything. And you see, that is why you discover that...
Okay, but shouldn't ASU be considerate in the sense that these are peculiar times in our history? I mean, the government is dealing with quite a lot of issues, at the moment. Issues of insecurity, for instance, that we've talked about. It's a major issue, right now. And we are just coming out of a pandemic and all of that. Shouldn't ASU just maybe soften the pedal a bit, considering some of these factors?
Asking for that is too much for the federal government of Nigeria. If you need to borrow, please borrow. Settle them, make them comfortable so that they can teach the future.
But what do you say to the argument that government alone cannot really, shoulder all the responsibilities that ASU is demanding, and that maybe there's some
government can shoulder
to have
the
a kind of a structure
ASU,
that allows others to also play a part here?
The private sector is already investing in education. That is by way of the private investors that are springing up. See, whether we like it or not, we are playing with the most sensitive thing in the life of any nation. Go to countries like South Korea. I stumbled on information that teachers are better paid than ministers of government. Yes, teachers are better paid. What are they trying to do? They are trying to make them give their best. In Nigeria, a lecturer teaches in maybe some lecturers, about 3 universities, 4. So they hardly have time for where the place of their first employment. They teach at the most private universities and all that to make up for what they are supposed to have that they're not getting. See, if we need to borrow to fund education, Nigerians will gladly support that kind of borrowing. Settle this thing once and for all. Then from now, you will now set a platform to ensure that issues like this no longer come up. Let us give priority to where your heart is. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be. That is what the good book said.
All right.
Now, let our government prioritize. See, it's a matter of priority.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We have to end, the review
Quickly,
at this point.
I need to talk about Tinubu denying that was unstatesmanly.
Yeah.
That was unstatesmanly. Denying the vice president. I don't have a son.
He said, I have no son grown enough to vie for presidency.
That is, see, it's unpresidential. It's unstatesman. See, we expect that if you are confronted with that kind of question, with his pedigree, his experience and his standing, yes, he is eminently qualified. He's a professor of law. So, and then, according to the law of Nigeria, nothing stops the vice president from vying for the office he's asking for. See, by that, you have...
In any case, I mean, shouldn't it be a thing of pride, that you have raised people who are now...
It was Mike Murdoch that says...
But that's just by the way.
The proof of success is in a successor. Yes.
Yeah.
But what he has demonstrated now is, I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll leave that at that for now. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak this morning and for sharing your perspectives with us this morning. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Nigeria.